everyone, my name's Sian, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a book haul for you guys because I haven't done one in I think about 5 months. And I recently left my job at Waterstones, so I had a bit of a book buying binge before I left to kind of make use of the discount for the last time. I miss it. It's about the only thing I miss, but I miss it so much. So I haven't bought like massive amounts of books. I'm kind of trying to be quite restricted on what I buy because I do have a bigger TBR pile than I have a read pile, which is something that I want to try and tackle. If you don't know, like, I have been in a huge reading slump for just ages now. It's been so long since I've truly enjoyed reading, which is kind of why my YouTube videos have slumped off, because to be quite honest I've barely been reading. But I can feel that love slowly starting to make its way back, so I'm kind of hoping to utilise my love that I can feel like seeping back into me into getting this TBR pile down, because I swear to God it is just ridiculous, absolutely crazy. And I kind of want to get back to the days where I finish a book and then I'd go and buy a new one and read it straight away, because they were just such joyous days and the excitement would be real because that would be the only book that you had to choose and I wouldn't be overwhelmed with all these choices that I have. So that's what I'm aiming to get back to, but obviously I did have to make use of this discount one last time, so I did buy a few books. So the first book that I bought is actually one that I have purchased once before, but as is a habit with me, I spilt food all over it. I think I spilt tomato sauce all over it. I think I had like a soup in my bag when I took it to work and I spilled sauce all over it, so I had to replace it. And that is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. I'm really sorry if I pronounced that wrong. So this is my second copy of this book. I am currently reading it, although I have put it down to pick up something else because I need to read that first. So this is set in the city of Cairo and it deals with the jinn, or the jinn. I'm sure it's not gin because it's not gin, but you get what I'm saying. What I have read of it I've really enjoyed. The main character is a thief. She is absolutely wonderful. Essentially it's her goal to get out of Cairo and she wants to, you know, live this new life, and as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. I promise you I'm not doing this justice in summing it up because I know a lot of people have read it and really enjoyed it, but I'm excited to read this one. I think the British copy, English edition, is just stunning, so yeah, got that one. The next book that I got was Circe by Madeline Miller. I believe that this follows a young woman that is born to the gods but has neither the looks nor the voice of the gods, so she is scorned by them and essentially turns to mortals for companionship. In doing so, she discovers witchcraft and then gets banished to an island because she has discovered witchcraft, and lots of stuff happens and it just sounds really interesting. Circe has to decide whether she has loyalties to those which she was born from or whether she will become loyal to the mortals who she has grown to love. So it sounds really interesting. I know a couple of people that have read it and really enjoyed it, and it just sounds quite different, which is weird because it also doesn't, but it's quite different to what I usually read, so I'm quite looking forward to reading this one. Plus, again, stunning. The next book that I bought was because I was in an urban fantasy mood. I just finished the whole of the Dark Fever series and I needed me some urban fantasy. Wanted to buy all of the urban fantasy. Haven't read it yet, but you know, that's just normal. But that is Dead Witch Walking by Kim Harrison. I did a lot of googling and I found this one, which is supposed to be good. It's basically witches versus vampires. It says 40 years ago a genetically engineered virus killed half of the world's human population and exposed creatures of dreams and nightmares that had until then lived in secret alongside humanity. The main character is a runner with some sort of scary service, which essentially means that she is a criminal hunter, but she's also a witch. So she is used to dealing with vampires and all of these kinds of different creatures, and it looks like she breaks her contract that she has with her current employer, which then obviously means that she has a death mark put on her and she ends up making some pretty powerful enemies, and I guess it just goes from there. I feel like this will be a fun one to pick up when I just want to power through something and I want something that's quite, well, it's just gonna grip me. It might not be like the best book in the world, but it's something that's just gonna grip me, and that sometimes is just all that I need. The next book that I got was purely based on the fact that I have heard Sam from Thoughts on Tomes talk about it so much, and I do believe that she absolutely loves it. And I thought that it could be a good one for future tome topple rounds, because sometimes I just don't know what I want to read, so I thought this would be a good one. And that is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I kind of want to branch off a little bit from young adult fantasy and read a little bit more adult high fantasy, and I think this will be a good one. I have briefly read like the first, couple of pages, and it just seems like it's going to be quite humorous in places. And I kind of want that. I love the idea of a thief that steals from the rich but keeps the money for himself. He's not like a Robin Hood character. He is a thief through and through, and he does things for himself. I really like reading characters like that when they're not like, oh, I'm a really good person. I do steal, but I do it for good. And it's like, okay, cool. This guy just steals because he wants money, and that's absolutely fine. The next book that I got is one that I saw a while ago now, everybody buying and finding it really difficult to buy, and I eventually managed to find a copy, and that is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Bodgerson. No, it's Rogerson, not Fodgerson. This is about a young artist that has a dangerous set of clients, the Fae, and basically the Fae cannot create any art, so they crave human art, and one day she receives her first royal patron, which happens to be the Autumn Prince, and she makes a big mistake by painting sorrow in his eyes, meaning that he could be cost his potential future throne. So she obviously gets in trouble for this, and the story goes on from there. I'm quite interested in this one because I obviously like drawing myself, so I like the idea of painting and art being kind of at the forefront of this. It's quite short, so I feel like I could power through it if I do read it. The next book that I bought is one, again, that I have heard everybody in the whole Twitter universe talking about, and that is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I do not actually know what this is about, other than the fact that it deals with two women set centuries apart who can either save the kingdom or doom it, which sounds quite interesting. And I believe that the plot starts off with an assassins kidnapping the main character's best friend, who also happens to be a prince, and in order to save him she exposes the fact that she can use all 7 kinds of elemental magic, which a normal person should not be able to do, and it should only be queens, I think. The gate will fall. You will know this time by the rise of 2 human queens, one of blood and one of light. 2 queens will rise. They will carry the power of the 7. They will carry your fate in their hands. So actually, this does sound really good, and I'm quite excited to start this now that I've properly looked at it. I've heard a lot of good stuff about this one, so I am really excited to start it. I know a lot of people on Twitter love it, and I just really like the hardback. It's like, again, I feel like all the books that I have in this haul are just pretty, and that is never a bad thing. I've also just seen that it's blurbed by Laini Taylor, so all about that. Next book that I purchased is one that Sarah Jane was talking about. I think she's read it and I think she liked it. And that is Ace of Shades by Amanda Foodie. I believe that this follows a young woman whose mother goes missing. She is a proper young lady who is at a finishing school and is all posh and well-to-do, but she has to leave behind that life to go find her mother and get on the trail of her missing mother. And her only lead is a gentleman that isn't quite as well-to-do as she is. He happens to be a street lord and a con man, so they are quite different. And it kind of sounds like there could be some interesting con artist-y stuff going on in this, which I'm all here for. I kind of feel like I want to read about people that just con everyone. I don't know why, I'm just in that kind of mood. Another book that I actually bought this month, which I've just remembered, was Dreamdark by Laini Taylor. I think this is her first ever published book. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. And I don't know if you can get the rest of them, but I wanted to get this because I just adore Laini Taylor and I'm impatiently waiting for Muse of Nightmares. So I bought this because, you know, I want to support one of my favourite authors, and I think it'll be interesting. It's based on Fae and everything like that. It's going to be probably very whimsical, very magical, like Laini Taylor's writing is. I don't know much about it, I just know that I want to read it. That is it, plain and simple. And finally, the last book that I bought over the last couple of months is probably one that I am most happy about, and that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I actually managed to snag myself a signed first edition So there is that. It's just I love this cover. I have started reading this over the last couple of days. I'm only about 40 pages in and I'm already really interested in what's going to happen, and it's very rare for me to get interested in a book this early on, so I'm hoping that that is a positive sign. But if you haven't heard of Spinning Silver, which I feel like most people have, it is a very loose retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, and our main character Miriam takes over her father's business, as he's not very good at it, as a moneylender, and rumour starts to swirl that she can turn anything into gold, and it captures the attention of some interesting characters that are kind of like Fae, I think. She's given a challenge by the Fairy King of Winter, and basically if she fails, she dies, and is a pretty impossible challenge. I think that there are several points of view in this book. I've already met another character who I am invested in already, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great book, and I have heard nothing but good things about it, so here's hoping. So that's all the books that I have bought over the last couple of months. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any that you think I should pick up straight away, or if there's any that you've read and enjoyed, read and hated. Just let me know. Let's just have a conversation in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!